Welcome back to CineSnap. Today, we'll be recapping a comedy film from 2021 titled Queenpins. In Phoenix, Arizona, a suburban housewife named Connie is arrested in the middle of the night at her own home. As she surrenders without resistance, she begins to recall how it all started months earlier. Connie is a former three-time gold medalist in Olympic race walking, but unfortunately, it's not the kind of sport that makes you rich or famous. Now, she lives with her husband Rick, an IRS auditor with whom she shares a strained relationship. The couple tried for years to have children and spent a fortune on treatments. When Connie finally got pregnant, she sadly lost the baby. Following the loss, Rick took a traveling position at work, staying away for 3 weeks out of every month. When Rick is home, he treats Connie poorly, constantly criticizing her for not having a job and blaming her for the money they wasted on fertility treatments. He also ridicules her obsession with couponing. And yes, Connie is genuinely obsessed. She hoards coupons, buys products in bulk, and stores everything in the empty nursery as a way to cope with her grief. With Rick gone most of the time, Connie befriends her neighbor Jojo, a spirited woman who runs a YouTube channel about saving tips and is just as obsessed with coupons. Jojo lives with her mother, Josie, and has been struggling to find a job ever since her identity was stolen. In her free time, she flirts with the mailman Earl and attempts to sell makeup door to door without much luck. At the supermarket, Connie regularly overwhelms cashier Greg with dozens of coupons. Though it holds up the line, it reduces a $100+ bill to just $16. Connie proudly says if you watch the pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves. One afternoon, she spots the baby wallpaper in the nursery while uploading groceries and breaks down emotionally. She tries to eat cereal to comfort herself, but it's stale. Furious, she needs a complaint email to the cereal company. Days later, she receives a letter of apology and a coupon for a free box of cereal. When she smugly returns to the store to redeem it, Greg tells her that every company sends free coupons if you complain. This sparks an idea. Connie begins sending fake complaint letters to several companies and ends up receiving a flood of coupons for free products. She shows them to Jojo, who is shocked and even tries to buy one. That's when Connie realizes she can sell these coupons for pure profit. After researching online, she discovers that most coupons are printed in Mexico, not far from where they live. She hatches a plan to go down there and get more illegally. Jojo is hesitant at first but agrees, drowning in debt. Meanwhile, in Nevada, Ken, a no nonsense loss prevention officer, discovers a fake coupon while helping a cashier. The store manager wants to honor it for an elderly customer, but Ken refuses. Rules are rules. His cold attitude earns him some well deserved insults. Later, on a flight home, a mother asks Ken to switch seats with her daughter so the child can look out the window during landing. Ken, being his usual self, refuses. He says it's a good life lesson. Back home in his lonely Utah apartment, he yells at the TV in frustration. In Mexico, Connie and Jojo find the coupon printing factory and wait for the workers to finish their shift. They approach Alejandro and Rosa, a young couple. At first, Alejandro and Rosa think they're being robbed, but after hearing them out, they welcome the women into their home. Rosa is pregnant and their wages are terrible, so Connie and Jojo offer them a deal. Steal unused coupons and they'll split the profits. Rosa convinces Alejandro to do it for their unborn child. Their plan is simple. Alejandro works in the printing department and Rosa works in redemption. The factory prints extras of each coupon to be destroyed later. Alejandro can sneak these boxes shipped to the US. No one checks boxes of paper for contraband. The first shipment arrives. Connie and Jojo create a basic website and promote it on Connie's YouTube channel. The business takes off, but so does suspicion. Ken starts receiving reports from supermarkets losing large sums of money due to coupons. He investigates and eventually traces a purchase back to a credit card. After 11 days, he meets the housewife who used the coupon, and she mentions the website, which is run by a black woman on YouTube. Ken finds the site and immediately recognizes Connie's motto: "If you watch the pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves." Back at headquarters, Connie and Jojo discover that PayPal has frozen their account due to a high transaction volume. They panic and turn to Tina, a dark web hacker. Tina scolds them for leaving a digital trail and deletes JoJo's videos. She creates fake IDs, bank accounts, and a front business using JoJo's makeup brand. She warns them not to spend money for 6 months while she cleans everything up and takes a 10% cut for herself. With Tina's help, Ken finds no digital trail and hands the case over to the FBI. But the agency doesn't take coupon fraud seriously. They assign it to Albert, the lowest level desk agent. Albert accepts the case anyway. 6 months later, business is booming again. Connie and Jojo finally want to enjoy their earnings, but Tina reminds them the money is still dirty. Connie recalls a story Rick once told about cleaning money: buy expensive items and resell them. They lie to banks to withdraw cash under the pretense of hiring employees and go on a luxury shopping spree: sports cars, yachts, guns, and even a private jet. They celebrate in Las Vegas and plan their futures. Jojo wants to pay off her mother's mortgage. Connie wants to try fertility treatment again. Meanwhile, Albert calls Ken. The FBI can't trace anything online, but the coupons are shipped via old school mail. He assigns to Simon a postal inspector to assist. Simon spots that the coupon envelope says Kansas, but the postal code reveals it was sent from Arizona. Simon and Ken head to Phoenix. Meanwhile, Connie visits a fertility clinic, secretly using donor sperm without telling Rick. That night, Tina checks in and gets furious. They didn't need to buy all those items. Using JoJo's cosmetics brand was already enough to clean the money. She urges them to sell everything and deposit it back in small daily amounts. Rick returns, notices Connie's new TV, and she lies, claiming she has a sales job and no longer uses coupons. He's pleased, calling her his new wife. Connie smiles, more determined to proceed with the treatment. Back on the investigation, Simon and Ken question local cashiers. Greg mentions a woman who repeats the penny's motto. At the post office, the word coupons triggers a memory: Earl, who watches JoJo's YouTube videos. They follow Earl and start watching JoJo's home. Earl tries to warn JoJo by leaving a note in her mail, but Josie picks it up without realizing its importance. That night, JoJo returns home and dances in her driveway to celebrate a major gun sale. Simon and Ken realize she is the black woman from the video. The next morning, she ignores the mail and drives to the stash house, leading the men straight to Connie. Simon gathers his team. With solid evidence and Greg's confirmation, the case is closed. That night, Jojo finds Earl's warning letter, but it's too late. The police raid the stash house and arrest Connie, Jojo, and Josie. The story hits the news. Earl watches in shock. During questioning, Rick and Josie immediately cooperate. Jojo pretends she is innocent, but investigators find her videos. Connie, however, confesses. When told she could face up to 40 years in prison, she agrees to take full responsibility to lessen Jojo's sentence. Jojo is released on bail, paid not by Josie but by Earl, who waits outside with flowers. Connie, on the other hand, is abandoned by Rick, who refuses to help and demands a divorce. Authorities trace the coupons back to Alejandro and Rosa, but the couple has vanished, and the Mexican government won't pursue them. Connie hires an expensive lawyer who argues they simply exploited a loophole. Like corporations do, the strategy works. Jojo gets 10 years in jail and 1 year probation, while Connie receives 11 months with possible parole. Simon and Ken are frustrated. The state attorney explains the brands involved didn't want negative publicity. $80 million in losses is pocket change to them. With the case closed, Simon thanks Ken and advises him to soften up. Ken takes the advice to heart. He's kinder now, even letting old ladies slide with fake coupons, and finally sets up a dating profile. Connie successfully undergoes fertility treatment and serves a sentence while pregnant. Most of the money is seized, but investigators overlook boxes in the nursery, thinking it's just stockpiled food. Jojo later recovers them, knowing they're full of hidden cash. In the end, Jojo and Earl move to Montenegro, a non extradition country, to start a new scam under a different cosmetics brand, waiting for Connie to join them once she's released.